Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to everyone. Today I would like to share with you a topic from the astronomy topic which is about the differences between the heliocentric theory and geocentric theory. First of all, throughout the antiquity, the medieval period, and the Renaissance, the study about the universe became the area of study. Two main theories were proposed, which is the geocentrism and the heliocentrism. Geocentrism came out with a view which the Earth as the center of the universe, while the Sun and other planets orbit the Earth. Meanwhile, for the heliocentrism, states that the Earth and other planets revolve around the Sun. Heliocentrism eventually gained favor and became the basis in the modern of astronomy. The heliocentrism stayed the same since its earliest known conception by Aristarchus of Samos, but the specific details was described by Nicolaus Copernicus and Johannes Kepler after. The first idea known about the heliocentric theory were developed during the ancient Greek. Aristarchus of Samos, who lived around year 230 to 310 before Christ, who was also a Greek mathematician and astronomer, was the first to claim that the Sun was the fixed center of the universe and all the planets, including Earth, orbiting around it. At the same time he proposed this idea, the geocentrism, or the idea that all things revolve around the Earth, was widely accepted and was explained using metaphysical and spiritual arguments. For example, Plato believed that the stars and other planets were carried around the Earth on spheres. Aristarchus took a different approach. Rather than appealing to metaphysical or spiritual arguments by using mathematical analysis to determine the motion of the Sun and the other planets in the universe. By measuring the size of the Earth's shadow as it appeared on the Moon during a lunar eclipse, he concluded that the Sun is much larger than the Earth. Unfortunately, none of Aristarchus' writing had survived due to some incident happened before. Thus, it is unclear on how his mathematical works on the heliocentric model. Only one common theory that he hypothesizes was that the smaller objects used to orbit the larger objects. Evidence that he shared this idea with contemporaries comes from Archimedes' writings, which say that Aristarchus' hypothesis that the fixed stars and the Sun remain unmoved, while the Earth revolves around the Sun in the circumference of a circle, the Sun lying in the middle of the orbit. However, the geocentrism still remained the most accepted model of the geometry of the universe during the antiquity and into the medieval period. Next, geocentric theory continued to be widely accepted during the Renaissance, and the astronomers tried to prove it using various geometric explanations. Some of geometry they used included the concentric circles, eccentric, and epicircles. Due to the mathematicians disagreed in their results and were unable to prove by observation, Nicolaus Copernicus, a 15th-16th century astronomer from Poland, began to formalize the geocentrism theory. He referred to old astronomers such as Aristarchus and discovered some belief that the Earth orbits the Sun. At this point, he began to developing his heliocentric theory, which described the motion of the Earth and other planets as circular. Copernicus established that the Earth had a circular orbit around the Sun, he needed to show that the other planets also orbit the Sun. Using the relative size of measurement, he was able to order the known planets by proximity to the Sun, such as Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. However, due to fear on how exception he might get, Copernicus shared his ideas with his close friends only, in his manuscript entitled Commentarius. It was not until 36 years later he published these ideas shortly in his books entitled De Revolutionibus Orbium Coelestium before he died. However, even after his death, geocentrism still remained accepted in astronomy. Copernicus' idea became unpopular because it was contradicted with the geocentric theory. Additionally, his mathematics did not perfectly describe the orbits of the Earth and other planets. In 1995, Johannes Kepler, an astronomer from Württemberg, Germany, received an inspiration that the spacing of each of Copernicus' orbit might be accurately described. His theory that if the relationships between and obtained by the endeavor align with the ratios between orbit spacing, then he would have discovered the architecture of the universe. Kepler's calculation showed agreement with minimal deviation. Even Jupiter proved to be an exception. This did not come surprise to Kepler because due to the Jupiter's distance from the Earth. This calculation led to the establishment of elliptical orbits of the planets with the Sun at the ellipse focus point, dynamically and actively pushing the planets around. As a result, his work inspired the work of other mathematicians who discovered magnetism and gravity. Besides, also in an alternate time, before the Renaissance and before Johannes Kepler, there was an astronomer who actually had discovered and developed on this heliocentric theory. His name was Alauddin Abu al-Hasan Ali ibn Ibrahim ibn Muhammad al-Ansari al-Dimashqi. He was also known as Ibn al-Shatir. He has developed his idea about the Earth rotating around the Sun in his significant book entitled Nihayat as-Suh fi Tashih al-Usul, which means a final inquiry concerning the rectification of planetary theory. Although the geometry of the universe in antiquity and through the medieval period was typically thought to be built according to a geocentric model, Johannes Kepler's work during the Renaissance effectively eradicated that notion in later years. His discovery of elliptical orbit was greatly influenced by voices of the past and near contemporaries, including Aristarchus and Copernicus. Also from the works from Ibn al-Shatir, also influenced by the work of Johannes Kepler. It was through Aristarchus, Copernicus, and Kepler that the heliocentric model evolved from just an idea that the Earth revolved around the Sun to a law that the Earth and planets orbit elliptically around the Sun, with the Sun at a focus point. This law still holds in modern astronomy. That's all from me. I hope from this share it might be benefit to you all. to learn about the geocentrism and heliocentrism theory. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.